I thought this would be fun. Bored of the Rings. Very clever. Peter Jackson has successfully completed his evisceration of the Lord of the Rings by removing the heart of Tolkien's The Return of the King, leaving it void of humanity or pathos. Jackson continues his confusing and odd choices in this film, revealing no confidence in the source material, relying instead on more comfortable Hollywood cliches and tired camera setups, which are augmented by the PlayStation effects the younger audience members have come to expect, and which leave others hungry for the mercitude of Tolkien's mammoth and respected, at least by some, work. To paraphrase a touchstone phrase from the 60s, Frodo's dead and Peter Jackson killed him. No, I'm pretty sure you're quoting Nietzsche?
And whoever this person is sounds like they might be taking what Christopher Tolkien said, who famously did not like the movies. In an interview, Jackson states that the goal was basically to make these movies in honor of Tolkien. Now, there are plenty of things that have been trimmed down, or cut out entirely, but I think they still managed to capture the essence of what made Lord of the Rings so special. The pacing is more snappy, and there is more sense of action going on, but the heart of the story is man overcoming evil, light being found in darkness, true friendship, faith among your allies, even if they're strangers. I don't 100% understand their thoughts, but I think both Christopher and this user might have misinterpreted the movies overall.
Only 200 minutes?
Hey, be thankful. It could have been way longer since they cut out the scouring.
I really enjoyed this movie. Well, about 45 minutes of it. Unless you're a die-hard fanatic for the books, and maybe even then, you'll want to watch this with the one finger or the fast forward button. You'll want to watch this with one finger on the fast forward button. Some scenes were excellent, but not enough when diluted by so much filler. The special effects may have been masterful, but they didn't make it a great movie. The movie simply takes itself far too seriously. How else could the director possibly justify an almost 3.5 hours long? Similarly to voters here, this is rated as number 3 in the top 250 of all time. That is so outstandingly overrated that I cannot understand it. This, with 65,000 plus votes, it probably belongs in the top 1,000, perhaps at number 800. How has the studio managed to create 45,000 plus IMDb accounts to skew the voting? The basic flaw of the entire trilogy is that it's based on a long-winded, violently racist set of books. Starting from that, you end up with, well, you know. No, I don't. Truthfully, this is a 7 out of 10. But it could have been a 7.5 if they'd actually done some editing down to 1.5 hours. So, you're giving it a 7, but you rated it as a 1. Weird. Not sure where the racism is coming from. I mean, the book was intended for English readers, and in Tolkien's day, his home was overwhelmingly white. Best of the 3, but still very average and way too long. I have now put myself through the sometimes enjoyable but mostly painful experience of watching these 3 movies. I have to say I do think the third is the best, but let's be honest, it didn't have much competition. With that, I agree with you. It is easily the best one. One thing is for sure, this film and the trilogy as a whole is easily the most overrated event in history. Many films should be above this effort in the top 250. The problems. The plot, for starters, not only did it not make any sense, it was basically after 9 hours about destroying a ring and fighting a couple of battles. All the meaningless subplots and political gesturing really didn't add to the film. The characters weren't fleshed out at all, even after 9 hours. Could you really mention much about the many of the characters? As a result, most of the time I couldn't care less about who was doing what and why. For a film to be a classic, surely it must have some surprises, or must be original in some way, and perhaps, more importantly, stir the juices of our soul. All we had were some very good special effects, and some nice New Zealand scenery. The filming was very much join the dots stuff, nothing novel or clever it the way it was shown to the viewer. Do we really need to hear the word precious again and again? Do we really need to see yet another slow motion close up of Frodo's face? All of this made the film and films overlong and lacking in any substance. Alright, well, there are a lot of close ups and slow motions of Frodo and his face. I can't deny that one. But I don't know, the characters weren't fleshed out? Were you paying attention? I mean, okay, not every single character is that deep. Merry and Pippin in particular are definitely trope characters, the fools, but they are given a lot of screen time, and you get to know them very well. But I can understand why somebody would think that it's overrated. People have talked about them to death. Same thing goes for stuff like Star Wars, Zelda, Citizen Kane, Big Lebowski, Mario. But it's important to put yourself in the mindset of the people who thought it was a big deal at the time. It's easy to get annoyed right now because it's been over decades. Overhype is a real thing. So it goes both ways. It would be my responsibility to not tell somebody that, say, The Wizard of Oz is the most perfect movie ever created. I don't even think that anyway. But you also gotta go in with your own expectations. And if it just ends up not really being your thing, it's not really your thing. And that's totally okay.